Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, hi. My name is Carrington, and not your first time here, hi, well welcome back. If you enjoy anything that is going to fall into the makeup or book category, this is definitely going to be the channel for you. So make sure you guys have subscribed, click the little bell to be notified of all my future uploads, and let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video, which we are going to be testing out the very new Patrick Ta Major Demension 3 palette. He has come out with 2 others. I have tested those and I really did enjoy them. So when I saw this, when I was picking up some of the Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween Town collection, I saw that this was in stock and I immediately knew I needed to pick this up. So with this, it's kind of got some of the similar things of his other palettes. You've got this right here, which protects the 2 cream shades, which you have more of like a deep brown, and then you have a black, and then you do have the rest of these are going to all be mattes. His other palettes are a mix of like mattes and shimmers. This is just 100% matte. And I do like the way that this is broken down, in which at the top row is really just like a lot of going to be those warm types of browns. And then down here, you're going to have some more like neutral, leaning cool type of browns as well. So you have the ability to do cool tones, warm tones, a mixing of them, whichever the case may be, and they're all mattes. Of course, if you want shimmers and this may be a great palette for you to use if you're like me. You like shimmer on the lids, but you have a lot of singles that you forget to use. This palette's going to be great, so that way you're forced to pick something else out that has a shimmer. Or if you just like all matte looks, which I do as well, then you're definitely going to like this palette as well. I think the packaging again is super cute. You've got like kind of like the rose of gold, and you've got like here it's like metal, and then there it's like kind of like this like matte type of material. And then of course the inside you do have a mirror. It's got the protective cover on mine. You have the mirror, and then you have all of the shades, and it has like the little imprint, his business logo imprint on the shades. I don't know if you can really see that on the camera or not. There we go. You have all of those different shades, and then you do have the cream, and it comes with the little door, which really does help to protect and save your shades. So I'm so excited to dive into this palette. So if you guys are excited to see what look I create, see some swatches, what my final reviews are, then definitely keep on watching. So starting off with swatches, I just swatched the 2 creams up here by themselves. So first off, we have this one right here, which is going to be, this is hard to read, Impressive. And then the brown is going to be non-negotiable. These are really, really creamy. They're really pigmented. I didn't feel like I really had to like work a long time to really get that like wow. To really get like the emollientness of it. And they worked really, really well. So I have no doubts that they would work really well with a brush, or if you want to use it with a finger on your eyes. We have Refined. This is going to be a kind of like that matte white type of shade. It's almost like an egg white. It's not quite, I wouldn't say like white. It has like a little bit of like some pinkness to it as well. Next we have Staple. This is going to be one of those. It looks really, really warm on camera, but it's not that warm. It's definitely a little bit more neutral of a brown. Next up is we are going to have Essential. Essential is going to be again more of like a cool toned, neutral, leaning medium type brown. Then we have Fundamental, right? Fundamental. These things are so hard to read. Like on camera, you're like, it's not that hard, but like in the light, it glares, so it's so hard to see. Okay, so yes, you have Fundamental. This is going to be a cool tone, neutral type of deeper brown. And then last for this row is going to be Irreplaceable, and that's going to be that matte black. Moving on, this is more of like the top row, and this is going to be Mandatory. This is a warmer peach, yellow peach type of shade. Then we have Classic, which is almost kind of like a pinkish brown, light type of brown. Next we have Needed, which is like a warm summer beach pink kind of a brown. Then next up we have is Crucial. This is going to be a more warm leaning neutral. Doesn't look very neutral on camera. I feel like the camera's making it lean extremely warm, but it's not as warm as it is. Brown, and then we have like a deeper, darker brown, and that is going to be the shade Trademark. So those are also swatches. So let's go ahead, let's dive on into the look. So let's go ahead, let's dive on into the shades. I want to do something a little bit more cool toned, I think. So I want to start off with this shade right here, and that shade is the one that is Staple. So I'm going to start with Staple. I take that on a fluffy brush. You do get a little bit of kick up, but let me say, when I was watching them, they really felt like butter. I was like, wow, these are so smooth. They are so soft. And I didn't have any issue with them being like so smooth and soft. Like I didn't have, you know, where it picked up too much, or it was not pigmented enough, or it was chalky. It's just so perfect and buttery and smooth and like silk. Like you're laying on like satin bed sheets. That's what it reminded me of. So we're just gonna work on like kind of building and blending. I don't want this look to be super dark or like super smoky, because the lashes that I picked out are kind of tiny lashes. So I wanted to try to like keep this kind of a lot more neutral. Then the next shade that I'm going to go into is going to be this one right here called Essential. I'm going to take that on a little bit of a denser, smaller, tight packing brush. And I'm just going to start stamping this. Just the place that I want it to be the most is going to be like the outer portion of my eye. That's where I'm going to take most of the color, is really focus it out here on this outer part. And then once I've got it like a good portion of the color down, I'll just blend the rest of it. Out. And very last, I just want to take like the tiniest amount of this shade right here, which is going to be Fundamental, which is like that darkest brown. And I just want to take like the very like tiniest amount and just focus it on like the lower outer half of the eye. Like that's it. So then I'm just going to take this white shade right here that is Irreplaceable. Yes, no it's not. It's Refined. It's Refined. And I'm just going to take that on like a packing brush. It's like a really dense small brush, and just start kind of starting to just take everything, especially here in like the inner portion, and just start blending. So everything just kind of softens up. You're gonna probably have to go in a few times with this shade, and this just kind of starting in the inner, and then just kind of. So then from here, for my eyeliner portion, I kind of want it to be like this brown. I want to try and see what happens with this brown. If not, we have the black we can go into. So I do have a little liner brush. It's a little e.l.f. liner brush. And I'm just going to just see what happens. Alright, so everything dyed, so I just went ahead and I just finished up. The only thing that I did differently is, besides adding on the liner, is on the lower lash. I literally just went into the very first shade that we went into, which is going to be this lightest shade here, and I put that all over the lower lash line, and then I put this into the inner corner. That is the only thing that I did. I made this really super simple. But let's go ahead and let's talk about my thoughts on the palette. First of all, I really do like Patrick Ta's eyeshadow formula. And then I really like that this is going to be that basic matte eyeshadow palette, where if you want to add some sparkle, you absolutely could. If you wanted to just keep this like really simple, really neutral, you could do that as well. I think this turned out so good. Again, the mattes feel really buttery and just like so creamy, and they feel so good. And they're really nice. They're really pigmented. I had no issues with blending them out. And then again, I really think that the two cream shades are really nice, really emollient, easy to work with, whether you're using a brush, whether you're using your finger to blend it out, or if you're using it as liner or all over the lid, or maybe as like an eye base, whatever the case may be. I think that they are really good. Again, I like the little door. I think the packaging is always really cute, really sleek, really elegant. One of my favorite parts of it. And I think this color story is a really good neutral staple matte. You have your warms, you have your cool and neutrals. Down here you have that black if you want to use liner, whatever the case may be, and then you have those two over here if you want to use those for liners or whatever. I think this is going to be perfect if you are a neutral person, especially to travel with. I did travel with one of his palettes when I went to Florida last year. Wow, that was a whole year ago. Dang. I went to Florida a whole entire year ago, and I took one of his other palettes, and it worked beautifully. It traveled really well. I also made sure to really wrap up my like palettes or breakable things when packing them, and I had no issues. But I think this is a phenomenal palette. I really like it. If you're somebody though who doesn't really want like an all matte palette, or maybe you don't have a lot of singles to add to, a lot of like single shadows, you don't have to bring out a whole entire other palette, that's not going to be the palette choice for you. He does have other palettes. If you want something that's not quite as topperish, his other palettes may not be for you, and you might want to go with a different brand. His other shimmers and his other palettes are a little bit more topperish, so if that's something you're like, I don't really want a matte one, I want something with more shimmers, just be mindful, like his shimmers are going to be really neutral. There's not like a lot of color to the shimmer, so if you're wanting something that has like color to it, his palettes aren't going to be for you. If you want something that is not quite, that's a little bit more opaque and not quite so topperish, his other palettes aren't going to be for you either, and that's perfectly fine. You can move on to another brand. But overall, I really like it in terms of pigmentation, blendability, quality, color choices, the different formulas, how both formulas are a really good formulation, and they go really well together, and he really takes the safety of them by having the little open and close plastic door. Yes, plastic door. All right, so that is it. Those are my final thoughts. Let me know what you think of the Patrick Ta palettes. Let me know what you think of this palette. Have you picked it up? Are you wanting to pick it up? What are your thoughts on it? I would love to know all of that down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. This lets me know you enjoy this type of content. This lets YouTube know as well. Don't forget to comment down below, like, subscribe, all of the good things, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!